Greetings and welcome all of my peeps out there, all of my moon watchers out there. In this video, we are going to be talking about this new moon in Aquarius that is taking place on February 9th, 2024. What the 2-week window period of this new moon between the 9th and the 23rd has in store for each and all of us, as well as what is going to be rippling out further even into the months of March and early April. This new moon has a lot going on with it. A beautiful pair of sextiles to the North Node and Chiron, both getting ready to conjunct in Aries, which will be conjunct in Aries by the time this window period is on. And this new moon is also going to be square to Uranus in Taurus. And so it's also going to force us to revolutionize some things about the ways that we've been carrying on our business, arranging our lives, our priorities and our commitments, and just kind of the landscape of the world around us. So for those of you who are not familiar with my way of going about doing these kinds of discussions, we're going to take the first portion of the video here and really go into deep dives about what all of these aspects and what all of these influences do and what they mean, and talk about what's going on with everybody and predictions for everybody. And then in the back portion of the video, that's where I have chapters dedicated to each sign, what is going on with each sign, what each sign needs to know, more specifically where this is going to show up for them. And so I do recommend, though, that you watch this first portion of the video and keep an eye on this so you can have more context, also understand what's going on with best courses of action to take, and just sort of the bigger picture of it all. That being said, I also wanted to let all of my Patreon followers know, thank you, by the way, for being a Patreon supporter. Your new discount codes are up, and so if you have not seen them yet, they are there for this month. And for those of you wondering what that's all about, every month I put out new discount codes on my services and my readings for my Patreon supporters, and different pledges every month get different accesses to different coupon codes. So say for instance a person pledging $5 a month would get 10% off any services I offer, or somebody pledging $10 a month would be getting 20% off, and so on and so forth. So if you're interested in that, again, I'll leave a link in the down bar below, but for those of you who are already Patreon supporters, I thank you, and again, check out your new codes. So what is going on when it comes to this new moon, though? Again, not just the 9th through the 23rd, though this is going to be where all of the action really gets started, right? Things start to go from crawl to walk to run. But what does this mean for the rest of February and even March and April? A new moon, of course, just a bit of a refresher, is all about new beginnings, new starts, new initiations, new roads, and new commitments that are coming forth into being, new stories that are getting started. But what's interesting about this particular new moon is that it may also be talking about overdue beginnings and overdue initiations. And that is because the Aquarian energy right now is still, integrating a lot of the new arrival of Pluto. And remember, Pluto in Aquarius is all about overdue transitions for progress. Well, a new moon in Aquarius would then bring new beginnings, or overdue new beginnings, or overdue new initiations as well. There is kind of a feeling of the finally, or yes, this has been a long time coming, whether this is something completely fresh or something that is, again, has been kind of waiting in the wings, but now it's on the way. And so new beginnings can happen in all kinds of different ways, but that is a new moon in a nutshell. Now, because this new moon is also connecting to many other slow-moving influencers, Uranus, Chiron, and the North Node, this is also going to stretch as an experience beyond the normal 2-week window period. So I would say let's treat this more like a situation where the 9th through the 23rd, absolutely, the new beginning gets underway, but the story carries on strong all the way up until the end of March, beginning of April. Whenever we have a new moon connect to either Chiron or the North Node, in this case both, We have a very powerful and what you could say very fated or very destined, very karmic type of flow that is starting to surge forth. We have something that is life direction changing. And what happens with a sextile is actually something very beneficial. You know, when we think about Chiron, or we think about the North Node, it can be very tempting to go into the emotional marketing place and, create hype and create drama. And while it is intense and it is profound, it's important to remember aspects matter. And I'm only saying that because I'm well aware of what some of my, I hesitate to call them such, peers would do with an aspect like this. But a sextile is an aspect of assistance. It's an aspect of help. It's an aspect of an uplift. It's beneficial. It's it's very harmonious. And what happens with a sextile is that we often see something reaching to lift up another corner of our world, something that not only benefits where said aspect is happening, in this case the new moon, but it's also lifting up the area of our chart that either Chiron or the North Node, in this case both, are occupying. And we're seeing a new moon that is actually raising the quality of life or bringing in new energy and new support to two places at once, not just where it's happening in Aquarius. And there's going to be something that changes two stories for the better. However, because we are dealing with Chiron and the North Node, this can get very complicated, and this can also be deeply personally challenging, even though it's all for the good, right? We have to take life as the mixed bag it is. Some things in life are deeply challenging for our own good. A new moon sextile to Chiron and the North Node at the same time is also quite rare, maybe once every 18 years or so. And so a sextile like this is going to be very special because it's creating a situation where a deeply personal need, deeply personal wish, or a deeply personal wound is going to confront its ultimate answer, its ultimate solution, its ultimate happy ending, its ultimate fix. And that is because with Chiron and the North Node together in Aries, this is also about new beginnings. This is also about fresh starts, right? Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's the pioneer. It's the sure-footed ram. It's the initiator. It's the go-getter. And so when we have lifts like this, this is not only about quickly granting a wish, but also quickly closing a door, quickly answering or solving a wound or challenge, meeting a deeply personal need. However, because of this, we may have to face certain things that we have been afraid to face, certain issues that we've been afraid to confront. Chiron is the ruler of such issues, right? Chiron rules our personal wounds, our challenges, our baggage, our complexes, our bullshit, and what we do to compensate for them. Whether it's compensate or misdirect or abate or soothe, that is what Chiron represents. The North Node, which is in the conjunction here, represents our biggest challenges and our biggest rewards, fate and destiny, as well as lessons and our life path to the highest path possible. And so all of these things coming together, right, in this beautiful amalgam are going to give us the opportunity to answer those personal needs. But just be prepared. Again, a conflict of interest with a crutch, attachment, or an overcompensational relationship or arrangement is also going to come up here as well. So when we say relationship, this could be not necessarily just a relationship with a person. It could be, but it could be a relationship we have with a place. It could be a relationship we have with a job. It could be a relationship we have with ourselves, a relationship we have with an activity, or even our own community or our path, an overcompensational anything. It's going to get put in the sights of this transit here. But again, focus on what it's really for, what it's really all about. And that's also going to be important to remember as we discuss Uranus getting involved in the mix. When we have a new moon square to Uranus, a lot of the times we see situations where a new beginning is going to require us to completely turn around or rearrange or revolutionize an arrangement or a plan that we already have in motion somewhere else in our lives. A lot of the times this is something that is still going to be good for us, very advantageous to us, but again, it is rocking the boat, and in some cases possibly tipping boats over. Most of the time with a new moon square to Uranus, this has to do with best laid plans that are suddenly going through big trajectory changes. The main theme when it comes to squares in general has a lot to do with complications and addressing complications and even potential pressures that challenge us to, again, think on our feet and start revolutionizing things. A lot of the times with squares, it shows us where things that are good for us, things that are new and promising, do not fit in to the world that we have as we have arranged it and run it, or the plans that we have as we've carried them out or as we've committed to them. And so it is going to require that each and all of us, do some serious thinking on how do we challenge ourselves to accept the rocking of the boat. If this is something that is good for us, where is it a boat is overdue to be rocked or tipped? A new moon square to Uranus can also reveal things where we might find better ways, where we might find things that are going to help us escape, things that have maybe been stagnating, things that have been keeping us caught in a loop, things that have been maybe freezing projects or freezing developments or freezing growth, or things that have been stuck in a bit of a Groundhog Day experience. This can also be a period where we get a chance to make some big escapes from things that have been very clearly dead ends or have already had their proverbial glass ceilings present, where things have plateaued. So there's also a lot of good that can come in this. But again, personal challenges with complicated rearranging and revolutionizing of everything we've got going on. Yeah, that's probably something that a lot of us are all going to be going through as well as we integrate whatever is coming forward here. So what is going on when it comes to each sign? What does this mean for you and whoever else or whatever else you might be deciding to look at? Aries, this is a new moon or new beginning in your 11th house of friendships, community, your support system, and your loftiest goals and ambitions, lifting up or answering a profound need, wish, or challenge that you have been confronting alone with Chiron and the North Node in your sign. And this could be bringing in a lot of really important new support networks, resources, and big wins your way through community, whether it's new community or just a brilliant new friend or a powerful hookup, something that you have been trying to work on or accomplish all by yourself or realize all by yourself is now getting a chance to be lifted up. But because of the square that is occurring with Uranus in your second house of income, employment, values, valuables, and security, this is going to require you to also rearrange a lot of plans that maybe you've been committed to as it relates to your professional path or a financial goal that you have as you once set that plan in this part of your chart, because it's not going to be compatible with what opportunities are coming forward here. So we're going to have to find a way to revolutionize the way we are doing business across all fronts in order for this to really settle and go to work for you. Taurus, this is a new moon or new beginning in your 10th house of career, upward mobility, status, station, promotions, and raises, forming a beautiful lift up as well to Chiron and the North Node in your 12th house of your past, the privacy, the hidden zone, things that you've got going on behind the scenes, as well as things that maybe could be considered shortcuts or things that have been affecting you from the past that still are influencing the present. And this could be solving a lot of old issues, especially because a new moon in the 10th house is all about new prestige, new power, new money, again, advancement in career and business and earning power. But what is also going to happen is that this is going to come into a clash with a personal pursuit or project that you've maybe been trying to do by yourself. as well. Something that a goal you have set for yourself, a plan that you've set for yourself is going to need to be completely rearranged or revolutionized in order to accommodate and take on board the good that's coming here. Gemini people, this new moon, this new beginning is happening in your 9th house of growth and expansion, as well as prominence, anything relating to big moves or big travel or government or legal proceedings, your spiritual path and practice, and your higher education. And so this new moon is really opening the world up for you, especially if you have been looking to get into a space where you can really get out and see the world, or maybe rise to a new kind of prominence in your field or with something that you are deeply passionate about. This can also open things up for you as far as big moves or big trips that you've been looking to take throughout the year, or maybe even help to expand your connections or your network with the rest of the wide world. Maybe put yourself out there, make a bigger name for yourself. But it is also going to be lifting up your 11th house of friendships and social networking, right? Answering a deeply personal wish or a personal need that has gone unanswered, or maybe even answering a challenge that's been going on in your area of community, your closest friends and your loftiest goals and ambitions. Both are getting lifted up at the same time. However, there is also going to be a square to Uranus in your 12th house of the past, privacy, hidden zone, things that maybe still affect the present from personal history or old decisions or old whatever influences. And this may require you to revolutionize some old long-term plans, old commitments, or old matters, old business that still are taking up space or may still be controlling things that you've got going on. You've got to do something about that in order to be able to take all of this good stuff on board. Cancerian people, this new moon is happening in your 8th house, which is all about shared resources, passive income, intimacy, bonus income, as well as anything that you may share as far as responsibilities with partners, business partners, or romantic partners. And so a new moon here can absolutely bring in an opportunity for you to score some more money or set up some kind of new income stream or income avenue, something that's going to be helping profits flow to you. Or for those of you who are thinking about maybe going into business for yourselves or making some kind of big pivot when it comes to a professional plan later in the year, this is all going to be really lifting you up. And it's also helping out your career in general when it comes to Chiron and the North Node in your 10th house of career and upward mobility, status, and station. So a profound need, wish, or challenge that needs answering, that needs a solution in this part of your chart to raise your status and raise your station is also going to come through this. But this new moon will also be square Uranus in your 11th house of friendships and social networking and your support system and community. And it is also very likely that you may have to completely rearrange how you've handled your social life, how you've handled your availability with other people or the company that you keep, possibly even your plans with a personal goal or ambition in order to take this on. Leo, this new moon is falling in your 7th house of partnerships or closest one-on-one involvement. So your boyfriend, girlfriend, BFF, business partner, husband, wife, roommate, all the people you have your closest one-on-one involvements with. And so a new beginning here, a beautiful new start here is going to be maybe establishing some kind of new story in a commitment, a business commitment, an alliance, or a romantic relationship that is getting well on its way after this new moon period. It will also be lifting up your 9th house of big moves, big travel, expansion, prominence, anything to do with government or legal proceedings, anything to do with your spiritual path and practice, anything that's going to get you out in the world, get you out of your bubble, get you out of your box. It's going to just open up the whole world for you and allow a lot of maybe higher roads to be accessed by you as well, both in your personal life and your social life, and maybe even for some of you, your professional life. However, this new moon will also be square to Uranus in your 10th house of career, upward mobility, status, station, and promotions. And so what can happen is that we also need to be ready to completely rearrange some, commitments, or rearrange some things that we have set up as far as our career plans, or anything like that goes, in order to be able to take this on. This is going to force some adjustments and, again, maybe some revolutions for you to take on in order to make it so, right? Revolutionize what's going on here so we can take on board the good that's coming from this new moon. Virgo, this new moon is happening in your 6th house of work, reputation, your schedule, lifestyle, the services you offer to the world, and what you get back for those services. And a new moon in the 6th house can often show up as sort of a 15 minutes or longer of fame kind of moment or experience. This is the time where you are getting a chance to rise in power and rise in influence and popularity, whether this is on the job or off the job, but you're also becoming a much more well-known influence and figure in all areas of your life. And this is likely going to be something that sets you up on a road for new riches and new power as we go through the rest of the year. This is also going to be lifting up and answering a profound wish, need, or challenge that's been going on in your 8th house of shared resources, passive income, intimacy, and maybe monies you share with others. But this could also include debts and investments. Aries. And when we have this go on, again, both of these are getting lifted up at the same time. You're getting put into an opportunity for a very wealthy way. However, this is also going to be forming a square to Uranus in your 9th house of higher education, big moves, big travel opportunities, government and legal proceedings, prominence, expansion and growth in your spiritual path and practice. And so you need to be ready for some big rearrangements and, again, revolutionizations going on in this area of your chart in order to accommodate what is now required to maintain this good fortune that's coming your way. Libra, this new moon is taking place in your 5th house of love, romance, recreation, and creativity, as well as your relationships with your kids. And this new moon not only creating a brand new beginning here, whether it's a brand new relationship story, a brand new love story, or maybe a new relationship goal, a new relationship destination, or possibly a new evolution of a bond you have with one of your kids or a personal enterprise, but it's also going to be lifting up your 7th house of partnerships and closest one-on-one connections with that Chiron and the North Node in your 7th house. And so this is also going to be, again, answering a profound need, wish, or challenge that's been going on there as well, kind of, covering all bases. However, it's this square that the new moon is making to Uranus in Taurus, your 8th house of shared resources, passive income, intimacy, vulnerability, self-employment earnings, as well as any responsibilities you share with other people, is going to require you to be ready to do some serious reevaluations, rearrangements, and revolutionizations of the way you've been carrying on here and how you've arranged your life, your strategies, and all of your approaches to things here in order to integrate the good fortune coming from this new moon. Scorpio, this new moon is falling in your 4th house of home, family, your living situation, home economy, your roots, and your relatives. And it's also going to be opening up an opportunity for a new beginning here. This is a great time for any of you who've been thinking about starting a brand new family story, a brand new family path. Also a great time for those of you that have been looking to make some kind of pivotal move or transition in terms of a home environment, or to completely rearrange the quality of life in your home, in your living situation, right? Make it a sanctuary, find your sanctuary, build your kingdom, fix your kingdom, however you want to look at it. This is all about a fresh start with all matters involving this part of your life. And it's also going to be lifting up your 6th house of work, reputation, schedule, lifestyle, and all practical matters that go into supplying that life at the same time. So you're going to be living richer, living more comfortably, but also getting a chance to have a lot more peace and support in your world because of it, and how it changes everything that operates in both of these parts of your chart. However, with that square the new moon is making to Uranus in your 7th house of partnerships and closest one-on-one involvements, you may need to be ready to completely rearrange or reevaluate or revolutionize the way certain close one-on-one involvements have been playing a part in your world as well. Now, the 7th house rules a lot of important one-on-one arrangements, right? These could be boyfriend, girlfriend, BFF, business partner, business allies, husband, wife, possibly ex-husband, wife, as well as roommates, tenants, or anybody you have important one-on-one connections, ties, contracts, or agreements with. There may be some revolutionizing that has to happen, in certain connections you have here in order to take this good stuff on board. Sagittarius people, this new moon in Aquarius is falling in your 3rd house of communications, pacts, promises, commitments, helpful third parties, collaborations, and valuable hookups, I might add. And with this new moon here, you may be finding that a very important new collaboration, contract, or hookup is going to be happening for you with the help of maybe one or more valuable third parties, whether they're making important links for you, seeing through a very important goal or agenda, or maybe, whether you've asked for it or not, helping to carry you or maybe matchmake you with something that you know or don't know you could deeply use. This is going to be valuable across the board because usually the 3rd house does kind of hit all the important areas, personal, professional, it doesn't matter. But pay attention to where shortcuts are also going to be put on the table and where, again, a valuable hookup or a valuable ally or asset is going to be brought to you that is also going to be lifting up your 5th house, which rules your love life, recreation, personal enterprises, creativity, and your relationships with your kids. And so this could also be something that helps these relationships or any paths or plans you have for this part of your world as well. However, this new moon will also be square to Uranus in your 6th house of work, reputation, your schedule, lifestyle, and anything relating to the services you put out there and what you get back for those services. And so you're going to have to be ready to let this part of your life maybe go through some serious rearrangements, maybe even get turned upside down a little bit while all of this is adjusted for and taken on board. Capricorn, this new moon is falling in your 2nd house of income, employment, values, valuables, and personal security. And so this is starting a brand new chapter here for you. This could be opening up the doors to a lot of new exciting jobs or roles or better paying opportunities or gigs for you and helping you to really take a few big steps up the ladder when it comes to your earning power. It's also going to be lifting up your 4th house of home and family, your living situation, anything that relates to your roots or your or possibly your relationships or arrangements you have with relatives and any home-based business operations even for some of you. When we have this go on, this is likely going to be a time where you are feeling that you and yours are all moving on up in the world and getting a chance to move on up in the world. However, this is also going to be forming a square to Uranus in your 5th house of love, romance, creativity, recreation, and your relationships with your kids. And so this is also, however, going to require you to be ready to completely reevaluate, rearrange, or revolutionize the way you have carried on a pre-existing arrangement, plan, or goal relating to one or more of these areas as well in order to take this new beginning on board. Aquarius, this new moon is falling in your sign, your 1st house, making it your once a year birthday new moon. And so whenever we have this kind of transit happen for us, it's time for us to think about what is an overdue new beginning that we want to have right now. With new moons in our sign, anything we want to put out there, anything we want to make happen, we want to start planting the seeds and doing the work in this 2-week window period, the 9th through the 23rd, so that it will manifest and substantiate within the next 90 days. So what do you want to do? Are you looking for a new place to live? Do you want to travel? Do you want a new job? Are you looking to maybe change something about a family relationship? Are you looking to do something with your health? Are you looking to maybe take a relationship situation in a brand new direction? All of this is very well supported by this new moon. And it's also going to be lifting up your third house of communications, pacts, promises, commitments, helpful third parties, collaborators, and allies. And so you're going to be having help with this. And this is also going to be building you a stronger network and a stronger community. However, this is also going to be forming a square to Uranus in your fourth house of home and family, your living situation, home economy, and anything to do with your roots, and again, relatives. And so there may be some things here that are going to be forced, however, to be completely rearranged, reevaluated, or revolutionized, and possibly even turned upside down. It happens sometimes. In order to accommodate this big win or this big wish, you're going to be having a chance to get granted for yourself. Pisces, this new moon is taking place in your 12th house of the past, privacy, hidden zone, things that you maybe have going on that are not public, as well as shortcuts, old business as it relates to the present, or anything that you keep as maybe in your secret vault, your private life. When we have a new moon in the 12th house, this is a lucky break for something that has been maybe kept small, or kept secret, or kept obscured, to finally have its day, to finally come into the light of day, to be celebrated, to be lifted up, and go through a very big triumph. This is also a new moon that could even revive or re-energize something from the past, right? This could also be seen as a resurrection moon, an old dream, an old goal, or maybe even an old fantasy having a chance to be realized as well. And this new moon will also be lifting up your second house of income, employment, values, valuables, and security all at the same time. There is a linkage happening here. However, there will also be a square to Uranus in your third house of communications, pacts, promises, and commitments. And what this is going to require is you being ready to maybe completely reevaluate, revolutionize, rearrange, or unmake certain commitments or agreements or binding influences that maybe you have been working with in order to take on board what this new moon is affording you. So that is what I've got for you all. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And should you ever want to get a session with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.